What's up YouTube, Demi here with the budget version of Lemon Prime, the CI Blast Rain Pathfinder. This is a Raider version that's made to be very fucking cheap and have similar damage capabilities of that character. The uniques that I'm using to get this are Chin Soul, Eye of Chayula for the stun immunity, as well as the Signal Fire Quiver to convert 50% of our physical damage into fire damage, and then Blast Rain itself converts the other 50% into fire damage. So this is 100% fire damage, which means you can stack fire penetration instead of the lightning penetration as on the other character, and achieve similar levels of damage in maps and whatnot. So that being said, we'll go over the skill tree. You go Raider. If you want to go Pathfinder, you can, but this is the highest DPS version that I can make for really fucking cheap. So you pick up Quartz Diffusion for your phasing in, while you have Onslaught and gain phasing for 3 seconds on kill, sorry. And then you have 40% increased elemental damage here, 20% increased movement speed while phasing, immunity to elemental status ailments, similar as Pathfinder while using a flask, but this is up all the time because we're always phasing. Then you get 10% chance to dodge spell damage, so you get 6% dodge, 10% spell dodge. Great. And then some movement speed, whatever. Then you go to Wave the Poacher for attack speed, Frenzy Charge on kill, and Frenzy Charge on hit when you hit rare uniques. Amazing to keep up your charges without using Blood Rage. Then you grab Avatar of the Slaughter for attack, movement speed, attack damage, and Frenzy Charges for Avatar of the Slaughter. That's great. With this current tree, I have, I think, 8 Frenzy Charges max. So you come out through Ranger start, you get projectile damage, attack speed nodes. Ballistic Mastery for the, projectile speed proj damage, and then you get fizz damage with bows and movement speed here. Come up, grab Volpact, and then you grab Primal Spirit for your flash charges gain. Since we don't have really too many sources of flash charges gain, this is pretty helpful. You come down over here, you grab a Frenzy Charge, you grab a Jewel Socket. We'll go over the jewels after the tree as always. And then this, you get fizz damage and movement speed with fizz damage, movement speed, dex to whatever. Come down here, get some weapon elemental damage penetration, which is great since we are fire damage, stacking fire pen. Awesome. Come down here and grab Point Blank. Now, Point Blank is an interesting choice, right? It means that you deal 50% more damage to targets at the start of their movement when they're from the projectile. So, like, say if I hit in this little area, I'm applying that 50% more damage to the damage of my Blast Rain, which is great. Then you come up here, you grab the Duelist Leech nodes, so we don't have to worry about using Vinctars for Leech or Aziri's Promise or anything like that. We just get 2% of our attack damage Leech this life. Now, since we are 100% fire, you cannot use physical attack Leech, so this gives us just generic Leech, which is great. And then we go over here, grab another Frenzy Charge, because we're Raider, and that's what you do. So you come up here, grab more Jewel Sockets, grab Harrier, eventually grab this Jewel Socket. I'm level 86, so this is kind of hard to get more Jewel Sockets. And then you come up here, grab another Jewel Socket, grab CI, grab your Infused Shield, your Ghost Reaver, so you can leech your Energy Shield, your In Blood for more ES. Then you come down here, grab another Jewel Socket, and the last Frenzy Charge. So that means with the +1 Frenzy Charge from Merciless, and 3 on Tree, you get 8 Frenzy Charges. Or sorry, 7 Frenzy Charges, and you have +1 from Radar, so you go all the way up to 8 Frenzies. Then you go into the Witch Supercluster, grab the OP as fuck ES nodes here, and you grab the area damage nodes here because Blast Rain is area damage. Come through Scion, grab these ES nodes because they're OP as fuck. Grab another Jewel Socket, and then come up here, grab Ellie Overload. Since we are non-crit and we're not Resolute Technique, this gives us 40% more elemental damage if you crit the past 8 seconds. We tend to crit a lot because we hit so much. Since we're Raider, we attack really fast. So we have enough chance to crit that we get 40% more elemental damage most of the time as long as we're fighting. And then we go over here into the Templar Zone to grab more area damage, AoE nodes, and the attack and melee damage. So this is just like attack speed and strength int for us, which is fine. So the jewels, we're looking for % increased maximum energy shield because we have shit gear and we need that. If you need resistances, get that as well. But other options for the damage stuff, you can go for increased fire damage, physical damage with bows, area damage, generic increased damage, attack speed with bows is nice. What else is helpful? Projectile damage is good as well. Generic attack speed, basically just you have a lot of options for this, but my jewels are pretty shit. As I said, this is a budget version, so I put approximately 5 chaos in each jewel. Damage, energy shield. The casting with fire skills is useless. If it was attack speed with fire skills, which I don't think exists, that would be great. This jewel is damage and damage over time. Damage over time isn't useless since we are using Herald of Ash. It scales that, but this is basically just a 2-prop energy shield damage jewel. And then over here, same thing. We have energy shield, projectile area damage. This one's pretty nice. It's 2 damage properties and an energy shield roll. This is actually a good jewel for this build. This one, physical damage, that's another modifier we can use because we're using a bow that converts all of our physical damage into fire damage with Blast Rain and Signal Shot. So, Signal Fire, sorry. This is a 2 damage prop. Jewel, again, this is like 5 chaos. This one is Energy Shield, area damage, all res. Crit multi with fire skills is useless because we do not crit that often, and because of LE overload, we don't have any crit multi, so it's useless. But it does have Energy Shield, all res, area damage. So this is 3 prop jewel as well. This was like, I think I used this on Lemon Prime. This used to be on Lemon Prime. So it's fairly expensive because it's 4 prop, but all res crit multi with a fire are useless for us, so it doesn't matter that much. Yeah, that's a tree. So we'll go over the gear. Or sorry, the links. Your main setup for a Chinsol, if you go for a 5 link, which is what you can do, you do Blast Rain. Elemental Focus, because we don't really care, we just want more multipliers, we don't crit, so the Ignite on this is rather pointless. So we go LE Focus for 49% more damage. Weapon Elemental damage, 59% more weapon elemental damage, that's another more multiplier to start stacking the damages. And then we have added fire damage for a huge chunk of our physical damage as extra fire damage. So this is effectively at level 20, I think it's 45% of your phase is added fire. So that's great. And then the last link is Fire Penetration. Because we're pure fire, this is a more multiplier as well. And then if you get a 6 link, you have a couple options. You can use Physical Projectile Attack Damage, which makes you attack a little bit slower, but it's another 50% more damage. Or you can use Faster Attacks, which I prefer, because it makes it feel less like shit. But you don't need those, you can do a 5 link either way. Other links, this is obviously, I'm not using too many links because I don't have that much investment into this character. But I have a cast when damage taken, Flame Dash, Freeze Pulse, Arctic Breath. This is mostly just for lulls, but it also helps to proc your LE Overload. If you've crit recently, you get 40% more elemental damage. So what this does is when you take a small hit, you Flame Dash on top of the target, getting closer to it. So that means that you apply your point blank damage and also your 100% more bow damage from Chinsol at close range. 150% more damage. And then it just blinks you on top of it, and you just keep shooting near your feet, basically. If something hits you, you flicker strike on top of it, more or less, and you kill it. The other links, Freeze Pulse has a fairly high crit strike chance, and it's a projectile, so it goes really fast. Arctic Breath is AoE, which we have a lot of AoE scaling, and it applies a chilled ground effect, so things attack and move slower in that chilled ground, which is great. Other links, I'm using a nothing here, and Bleeding Arrow faster attacks for your movement seal. You can throw in a Flame Dash if you don't like just the Link Arrow. It's actually not too slow with no cast speed. If you link it to faster casting, it'd be fine. And then a Aura setups, I'm using Discipline, Herald of Ash, and Blasphemy, Flammability. Now, if you don't have a level 3 Enlighten, you can get away with it, but you can only attack once. So this could be a 4 link. But the Herald of Ash gives us extra 15% of our phase as extra fire damage, so that's effectively another 1/3 of an added fire damage rule. It also means that when we overkill an enemy, it ignites everything around it, and that burns crazily because of our extra elemental damage, extra fire damage, extra area damage, whatever. It kind of melts things around the target that you kill. And we hit pretty fucking hard because of our point blank, 50% more, and our Chinsol, 100% more, LE Overload, 40% more, and all of these more multipliers in our main links itself. The 50% increased fire damage applies to all of our fire damage, so that applies to the Blast Rain itself as well as the Herald of Ash Ignite. Discipline, because we have shit ES gear, we need this to achieve a decent amount of ES. Without it, I'm at 6k, which is still more life than your average life-based right side of the tree build would be. You'd be at like 5k life. So even without Discipline and shit ES gear, I'm at 6k life. Hooray! Other links, optional links, you could set up a Vol Haste link setup, or sorry, a Vol Haste setup in your helm, or a Vol Discipline setup. Doesn't really matter too much. You have a 4 link to play with, you have basically a 4 link to play with here, and you have a 2 link to play with here and a 2 link to play with here. So in all, you need a 5 link and then a bunch of 4 links. As for the gear, required uniques, you need a Chinsol because it gives you 100% more damage. It's OP as fuck. The knockback at close range is relatively annoying actually because it does detrimentally affect your Blast Rain because they get pushed out of the explosion, but if you walk up to a wall, push them into that wall so they don't move anymore and then just keep beating on them while you're next to them, they die pretty quick. Chinsol 5 link I believe is like 20 to 30 chaos on standard. On League it's probably less. You can just buy the 5 link Prophecy and instant 5 link a decent roll Chinsol, which should cost you like 1 to 2 chaos. The Quiver, you want a Signal Fire. This is a very high rolled Signal Fire, but I think a shit rolled Signal Fire should cost you less than 10 chaos. Or you can just buy the Prophecy yourself, which I believe is called... I don't know actually what it's called. It's a Prophecy that you kill Hate Gleam, which is in the Golem dude in the Crematorium. And you convert a Signal Fire into the... No, you convert Black Gleam into the Signal Fire. I don't remember what it's called though, I'm sorry, I'm trying to think of it. Here it is. Hate Fire and Brimstone. You will defeat Hate Beat, while wearing Black Gleam. That's a lot of words I can't say. Other required uniques. You want an Eye of Chigula for stun immunity, because we don't have Skyforce, we don't have Unwavering Stance, we don't have Illyrium. This is the easiest option to get stun immunity. This costs 5 to 10 chaos in most leagues. Sometimes more at the start of the league, but not too much. Other uniques that are optional that you can use, I am wearing Rainbow Strides because they're all res and decent ES as well as decent move speed. But these are really cheap, they're like chaos. If you want to get better than this, you can go for really high ES boots with 30% move speed and more resistances, intelligence, whatever. Helm, you would like a high ES helm with resistances. As you can see, I'm wearing a shit helm with 200 ES. If I had a 400 ES helm, I could probably reach 9k ES, but this is garbage. Chest piece, I'm wearing a 750 ES chest piece with resistances and intelligence. Not too important. Just get as much ES and resist as you can on your chest. You don't need the 6-link either, you can use a 4-link. Gloves, same shit. You want ES resistances. These are actually not bad gloves. These are pretty nice gloves, to be honest, but again, I have shit ES because I just have bad gear. And then belt, you want a crystal belt. If you can get weapon elemental damage on your belt, that's awesome. If you can get resistances, strength, whatever you need on your belt, cool. This is a pretty good belt, but it actually only gives me about, what, 500 ES, so the better belt you have, the more ES you'll get. Rings, you want to use steel rings if possible, or opal rings. Opal rings I think might actually be better for the damage scaling, since it's 25% increased elemental damage. My rings are physical damage, resistances, and extra fire damage. Again, this is a really fucking good ring. You don't need this. Like, it doesn't... I lose like 50 ES, and let's see, 5.7k goes up to 6.6k. So I gain 800 DPS from this ring, which sounds like a lot, but it's not. Other ring, similar thing, another steel ring with... It's a really good steel ring, but you don't need either of these two things. You just have like opal rings with weapon elemental damage or increased fire damage, and then ES, resistances, stats, whatever you need on them. Sure, you'll be fine. I believe that's all the uniques. So let's go ahead and do a map example to show you guys what this thing's capable of with its garbage tier 6k DPS. We'll just go into a T15 map, because that sounds like a thing that you should be doing with 7k ES, right? Sure, pack size, I don't really care. So I will do this on a 5-link for you. And let's go ahead and throw this in. So this is a 5-link Chinsel with 5k tooltip DPS in a T15 map with 7k ES. Alright, flasks. Flasks, I'm using a phasing flask for the dodge and dodge spell damage. I'm using an onslaught flask with remove bleed. Reduce charges used, so you get 2 juices out of it. You do need a bleed flask. And this is another bleed flask for the physical mitigation mostly. Since we're CI, we don't have endurance charges or anything like that. We need the phys mitigation. Using Quicksilver with reduced charges used to increase movement speed, whatever. And then last one, I'm using a Taste of Hate for extra cold damage and phys mitigation. You don't need this at all. I'll do it without that. We'll do it with a budget option. Where is an Aziri's Promise? Aziri's Promise is cheap as fuck. It's like a chaos. I'm not even going to use well-rolled one. This one is shit. Okay, there you go. Cheap flasks. No unique flask that costs more than an alch. T15 map, let's go. So the playstyle is you walk on top of shit, and you attack them, and they die. Very simple. This is a 5-link Chinsel. It's not as fast. I don't have max frenzy charges yet, obviously. Got 3. Our Ellie overload is up. So we'll check our tooltip once we have max frenzy charges. Yeah, you just kind of walk on top of shit, and then melt them. Because your blasphemy applies to things around you, your more damage from your bow applies to things around you, point blank keystone applies to things around you, and blast rain hits things pretty close. You just kind of do this. So now we're 8 frenzy charges, Ellie overload, and let's see if I can get Aziri's Promise up as well. There's Aziri's Promise, 8 frenzy charges. We're up to 8k DPS, but that 8k DPS does not show the more multipliers from point blank. It does not show the fire penetration DPS multiplier. It does not show the reduced fire resistance from our flammability itself, and the bow damage from Chinsel. I think I said that, I don't know. You have a lot of more multipliers that don't show up in tooltip. And you have attack leech, so you don't have to worry on flasks for your leech, you can just keep attacking. But yeah, I'll go ahead and fast forward to the boss fight now. See you guys at the boss fight. Alright guys, I kind of just beelined to the boss, so we'll just go ahead and do Duresso. T15 Duresso at level 86 with like 8k tooltip DPS. Yeah, it's not the fastest clear, but I mean, it's definitely working. Also, I probably shouldn't stand in this. Yeah, it's a joke. Budget build. Face tank Duresso because you don't fucking care. Obviously you do more damage the closer you get, but I'm kind of scared, so I'm kind of staying away from him. But playstyle, if you're scared, just range him. You're a ranger, dude. Abuse your range. You lose your point blank modifiers, but you don't need them. Alright, got him. Anyways, there you guys. There you guys go. Sorry. I hope you enjoyed the budget version, level 86 Raider of the CI Blast Ring Pathfinder build. Don't fucking worry about your tooltip. It doesn't matter that much, guys. It really doesn't matter. What matters is the performance. So I hope you get something from this video. I hope you enjoy the budget version of the build. If you can't afford the OP as fuck version of this build, performance is relatively similar. If you invest heavily into this build, I think it honestly could out DPS my build with much less cost. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. As always, I will see you in the next one. If you have any suggestions for the guide, any questions, leave them in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next video. That's DeMi out.